Well, it's early May and there's actually a huge snowstorm going on back in Wisconsin. So I called up my brother Randy here and I said, hey, how would you like to go out to Lake Erie and catch some walleyes? He got off work and we headed out here. I told him we got to test some new crankbaits by Berkeley and maybe do some spinner fishing. The good thing is the weather is perfect out here. The water clarity is perfect. And I tell you what, we already got the next bite.
Just looking for the next bite, next bite, next bite. Just looking for the next bite. Yes, we
We'll continue to show you the next bite.
When walleyes are in their post-spawn period for the year, it can make for some really interesting fishing as far as trolling techniques go.
I saw those marks down there deeper, you know, I thought, well.
While a lot of these Great Lakes fish can be tired and not very interested in biting, there are still those out there that are eager to fatten back up and regain their strength as spring moves into summer.
Here he comes. There he is. Had a little net shuffle there, but I got him.
Professional walleye angler Keith Cavalles and his brother Randy Cavalles hope to find those select post-spawn walleyes. Using a combination of speed searching with their electronics, and also, and perhaps more importantly, a new generation of crankbaits being developed by Berkeley, Keith, and Gary Parsons here on the expansive waters of Lake Erie near the Bass Islands.
Nice fish, Randall.
Yeah, that's a beauty.
Probably 6-pounder or so. And he fought good. Yeah, he's pulling nice and hard. I thought he'd actually be a little bit bigger. We'll get him bigger. May is a great time to come out to Lake Erie looking for walleyes. And one of the best places to be this time of year is around the Bass Islands. And that's because walleyes in Lake Erie, many of them spawn over in the west. They spawn in Detroit River, they spawn in the Maumee River, there's a big reef system over in the Western Basin. And once they get done with that spawn, they start heading to the east. And a great place for them to hang out is the Bass Islands. Because this time of year you can meet a lot of different wind conditions. And the nice thing about the Bass Islands is you can tuck in them. A lot of times the best fishing is right in between the islands or right next to the islands or on one side of the islands. You're looking for a couple of different things. First of all, you want to find clean enough water. I like to look at my prop, make sure I can just barely see that prop or the cavitation plate. You don't want crystal clear water. The other thing that you obviously want to look for is a lot of marks on your fish finder. You should be seeing marks all the time because what you're fishing for is suspended fish. Once you see those marks, you're either going to run spinners or crankbaits just above those marks. You should catch a lot of fish here on Erie or on the Bass Islands.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury, #1 on the water. Amsoil, the first in synthetics. Tracker Boats, fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. Berkeley, catch more fish. Mustang, stay sharp longer. Lowrance, find, navigate, dominate. Motor Guide, never stop. Strike King, #1 in fishing lures. And Power Pole, swift, silent, secure. While anyone can say that a certain lure catches more fish,
I guess I get to take this one since you decided to take a little lunch break.
I'll just wait till you get the board in here.
not everyone can say that they've been fortunate enough to test that lure before it came out.
I guess you're not the only one that was hungry, right?
Right.
Hop right up on that back deck and I'll swing this board right to you.
And better yet, that they made sure to test it in every way possible. A dream come true for a professional tournament angler like Keith Cavalles, who stakes his living on catching walleyes any way he can.
And now that you got it off, it's still bending pretty good. Ooh, there he is. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. He's got his pink meal right in his lips. Get him, Randy, quick, get him. There you go. Get him in here. Get him in here. We don't need him in the water. That's a good one there. Right, they aren't biting, they aren't just hammering that bait. They're just barely getting it in their mouth. But Little triple grips held on
Barely
good.
gets the job done.
Crankbaits may generally appear simpler than, say, spinner rigs in their outward appearance.
Not real heavy. I mean, we are a little bit post-spawn here, 50 degree, 52 degree water. So we're post-spawn, but that's definitely a female.
But the sometimes understated complexity of their simple design and hopeful success stands largely on mimicking a natural action.
So one of the cool parts about being a professional angler is that a lot of times I get to design not only equipment, but lures. And for this trip, what I wanted to do was test a new stick bait that we're working on. Now the interesting thing about a stick bait is, unlike the flicker shads that we designed a few years ago where we worried a lot about top to bottom roll, with longer baits like this, because the bait fish that they're mimicking is longer, those fish actually swim more with a snaky action. So not only do we got to worry about the roll, but we got to worry about the side to side or snaky action. So we literally have to test to see which bait is going to be the best action. The guys at the lab, you know, they're writing different numbers on here: 6 slow, 8 slow, 11 fast. I've got about 8 or 9 different actions out here, and what we're doing is letting the walleyes do the testing for us. So Lake Erie is a great place to do that because there's lots of walleyes. We're running lines out here with different kind of actions. We're running some controllers out here. What we're trying to do is figure out the best stick bait we can to catch a lot of walleyes for you. Inside board there.
Yep, I see it.
Grab it. Oi. How's she feel?
She feels like a fish.
Well, I guess that's a good thing. Could feel like a lot worse things, I guess. Now, let me give it a little feel here. It's definitely a fish. It don't feel too bad. It'll certainly be worth getting the net for, I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that. A little bit dingy water here. I saw a little bit of him. There he is. He's got old Pinky right in his
He's
mouth.
fat.
He's a decent fish. I got him.
Nice.
I got him.
Good fish.
Yeah, that's a nice one. He kind of T-boned it a little. I think that's why he felt just a hair bigger than he is. Got some of the hooks in his, you know, up where we had, up in the front hooks is what he actually bit, and then the back hooks caught him a little bit in the gill, but that makes him feel a little bit heavier than they are. He's not too bad a one though. A little chunkier than some of the other fish. Get this out of here. There we go.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah, he's a really nice fish.
Yeah,
I mean, this is one of the healthier ones. I mean, he's got
that's a nice
really nice
fish.
body shape on him. I mean, just gutty all the way down like that. He's been eating a little bit there. Or she, maybe. Probably a small female. Or a pretty decent female.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get her back in here to grow up just a little. Whoosh.
The Real Deal. Real fishing information from real fishing experts. Presented by Amsoil.
You know, one of the things when it comes to wind and current or pretty much any type of fishing you do, boat control is key on putting more fish in the boat. And this new XI5 is really pretty impressive. You can actually see here that we're fishing in a river situation and there's a lot of wind blowing with the current. So we have a lot of factors that are trying to push us away from the good areas right next to these pillars, because these walleyes use these pillars as an area to sit and get out of the current. This XI5 has what we call anchor mode, and that's simply pinpoint GPS feature built into the motor that's unbelievably precise. I've set anchor mode on the front corner of this pillar. It almost feels like you're ice fishing when you're using this feature, because I literally can be vertical jigging straight under the boat, not having to use my foot on a foot pedal, just basically letting that anchor mode work itself and see that jig on my transducer right below the boat. Now, one of the coolest features about the anchor mode is what we call the jog feature. Fish move around. So in a situation like this, I want to be able to cover the pillar. You literally can go in 5-foot increments, left, right, forward, back. So for instance here, if I want to back up on this pillar, let's say 10 feet, I go 1, 2, the anchor mode will actually readjust, move us back 10 feet on this pillar, and sit up on that spot, re-anchor, and I can fish that spot there too. So if I want to go to the left, one button there, mode will take us 5 feet to the left. So very cool. I could actually work my way around this pillar just by simply using the anchor mode, sitting on top of the fish and catching a lot of them in some pretty harsh conditions.
Although Keith Cavalles and his brother Randy have been enjoying a solid Lake Erie trolling bite while testing out a new series of Berkeley crankbaits,
Oh man, I just caught one.
You just caught one.
a happy accident in their setup reveals some even more in-depth and interesting information for this post-spawn walleye pattern.
He's pulling it around, all around the boat.
I caught him high and suspended. So. He's kind of dancing
there he
all over. Yeah, there he is. He's a nice one.
Yeah.
A bonus fish there. I guess it pays once in a while just to circle them. It's not supposed to happen like this, Randy. You're supposed to actually catch them on the board and stuff, but we'll take it. So that tells me two different things. Maybe we should be going a little faster, or maybe we should be raising up the lures in the water column, because as you reeled it in, but there, I got them loose a little bit here. There.
That's a good one.
Transitional water temperatures can present a unique opportunity for flexibility in your presentation.
With the spinner now, just take it nice and slow.
Yep.
These spinners don't have as big a hooks as treble hook, you know, the big trebles on a crankbait, so just nice and steady coming in, but looks like that board's flat enough back there that we should be just able to bring it right up the middle and leave that other line right in there.
It's important to let the fish tell you what they want, so long as you know what to look for.
Straight down now. There ain't much line after this. There's
No,
only 20 feet, so just
20
take your
feet.
time while I get the net.
Okay.
Because during this time of year, out on the Great Lakes, trolling for these trickier post-spawn walleyes, they can want a few different things.
All right, a couple of things are happening here. First of all, we pretty much got what I wanted done testing those crankbaits. We were just basically looking for the right action. I think I've got that pretty well figured out. But the other thing that's happening is it's very common this time of year on Lake Erie when you get between that 50 and 60 degree water temperature that they can get a little fickle about do they want cranks or do they want spinners. So we're going to quickly switch over here and pull through these fish with spinners. What we're going to use is something called a tadpole for the weighting system. It's not only weight, but it actually dives a little bit. So that's going to get us down to the depths we want. And then behind it, we're just going to run a flicker rig. So we can real quickly switch over here. Tell you what, we'll see how it goes. Right here, right here.
Ask and ye shall receive. Feeling pretty heavy?
It does, and you see that board, how it's kind of flat like that?
Yeah.
That's from the weight of the fish on it, pulling it flat like that. All right, here comes the board.
Okay. Yes.
That is a good thing.
I'll grab the net.
Yep. I don't want to horse them too much. When they hear that engine sometimes right at the boat, they decide to get kind of stupid, like this one is. Just banging his head down there. And then just let him sit for a second. All right, off we go again. There's the weight. You see it down there,
Oh, yeah,
Randy?
there's the weight.
Oh, he's not very big. Not a monster, but he'll be a nice one.
Got him.
Very nice. Good netting job. Good netting job. Well, there's some good fish around here.
Yes,
Oh, the
there
old
are.
rainbow blade. Look at blue and rainbow. It's a pretty blade. The walleyes think it's pretty too. They think it's pretty too. Well, we got him hooked nicely here. He wouldn't have got off.
Took the worm, but it's
Take a
worth
worm.
it.
We'll trade worms for walleyes any day.
Sure.
Right? Worms for walleyes.
Hot Topics, leading information on tackle and techniques to make you a better fisherman. Presented by Mercury.
Something new coming out this spring that's going to be available in stores is this new trilene braid. It's a super high pick count, and essentially what that means is more individual fibers wrap more tightly. It actually gives you more abrasion resistance and strength, but also more roundness, so it handles better on that reel. And then for muskie fishing, you've got the important points of that lack of stretch. You can tell what's a rock, what's a weed, what's a strike, and of course when you set the hook, you get a lot more snap in that hook set. When you hit weeds, you can snap that bait really hard, and often you'll break those weeds off and they'll come off the lure and you still got a clean retrieve going on. So this line is available in moss green and tracer braid that's going to be available this spring. For muskie, I generally like the 80-pound test and possibly the 65 for pike, but 20 to 80-pound tests it'll be available in. It's a great new product to look for this spring for muskies.
Slight rises in these transitional water temperatures have since shifted Keith and Randy Cavaias' Lake Erie trolling bite from some great action on crankbaits.
Got that hooked nicely in the snout there. That's perfect the way we got him there.
There you go.
That's a good fish.
To now keeping that same great bite alive
Nice marks here.
by running spinner rigs.
Sometimes you, like in this calmer weather, you don't want to slow your boat down too much because it lets that fish actually swim under the boat, change the angle of the hooks, and you can actually lose fish by doing that. So you always want it coming up a little bit behind the boat.
Oh yeah, it feels heavy.
Go ahead and grab the net, Randy.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna. Although he ain't moving that far.
Which side is it coming in?
Right down the middle, I think. There we go. Oh, there he is out there. See him?
Oh, look at that.
Get that net extended and get that fish in the boat. Go, that's a big one. Get him! Yeah! Come on, get in here. It's one brother helping another. There you go. Look at how long this thing is.
Wow.
This is a monster. That's probably pushing 30 inches right there.
Oh boy.
Ain't the fattest thing in the world, but I'm sure she just got done with spawn a week or so ago, so now she's out eating. Look at how long that fish is, Randy. Huh?
That is a fat
Holy
fish.
man, it's not that fat, but it's long.
Yeah.
It's just studly long.
Look
But
at that thing.
like I said, I mean, probably not even 2 weeks ago, you could probably add 3 pounds to her just in eggs and just how much energy they have to use up. Let me tell you what we're using for spinners out here. This is actually a pre-tied rig called a flicker rig. You could tie them yourself. It's the same way I would tie them. We're going to use double wide hooks down here, 2 of them. Then you got enough beads to cover the blade. We're actually using number 5 blades, and I think pinks, purples have been our best. Then it goes to about a 4-foot snell of 15-pound test fluorocarbon up to the weighting system that we're using is called a tadpole. It's not just simply a weight. A tadpole also dives. So I'm using a number 1 tadpole, and you'll see that it kind of runs in the water like this. Cool thing about a tadpole is when you get a fish on it, it actually pulls back and straightens out so that you don't feel that resistance when you're fighting the fish in. So it's kind of a cool little system. Now we're running this down on 10-pound XT about 40 feet of line. A number 1 tadpole with 40 feet of line at the 1.1, 1.2 miles an hour that we're trolling is going down about 20 feet. And the reason I think that's working out so well is we're seeing a lot of fish down 21, 22, 23 feet down there, nice big arcs. So we're fishing just above them. You're gonna end up then after you put that 40 feet of line out, put on your offshore board with a tattle flag system so you can see those light bites. You'll be catching walleyes too.
How's it feeling?
He feels like a very nice walleye.
Oh, should I get the pole up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Pop her up. Just hit the top button twice. There she is.
Look how easy that is.
One hand washes the other this time of year when trolling for these post-spawn schools of walleyes, so long as you can be as proficient as possible in both your crankbait and your spinner rig setups in order to make the switch as quickly as possible if and when the walleyes do.
Right over by the kicker here.
Huh?
He's a fighting good, Randy. Shouldn't be too far out there. Not even reeling, I'm just waiting for him to do something. There's the weight out there. See the weight, Randy?
Yep, there it is.
He'll be right below that. Oh yeah, he's a good one. Look at that cruiser. Get him if you can, Randy. Get him in. Oh, you gotta get him in the net. Double take on that one, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Just swing him right up here.
Ah, there we go.
That's a good fish. Holy man, look at the size of him. This is what makes it fun out
Yeah,
here.
that's why he was fighting hard.
Yeah, well, he kind of, look at, he hit that front hook and he kind of had the other hook in him, and
Oh,
he's
boy.
got the blade and the beads in his mouth. He says, I don't want to give that up. Ooh, he wants to bite me. That's why he felt really heavy. He didn't know which way to go because both of the hooks had come around and got him.
Boy, good thing the line didn't get cut with them teeth.
Yeah, the teeth aren't real sharp. They're real pointy, but they aren't super like cutting teeth. So you don't typically have to worry about a walleye cutting the line. Especially when we're using nice strong line like we are. Fluoro, 15-pound fluoros on them
Right.
leaders. So that's a good fish right there.
Yes, it is.
Boy, I like doing this. I love coming out this time of year.
Nice cold water. The fish are really active.
And let's go! Fish are waiting! Another piece of data. Just some data. Data and dinner. It's early May here, and it's early May, and there's actually a huge snowstorm going. And even with the board on, you can feel the.
Maybe it's one of them Erie 30 inches. Good thing we got this sunscreen.
Do I got it mostly rubbed in?
Yeah, I think you're looking pretty good.
The Next Bite would like to thank the Holiday Village Motel and Charter Service, conveniently located at Catawba Point by the State Park Boat Landing. Call Don for fishing information or reservations, or reserve online at holidayvillageresort.com.